Well, those know you know me. I know you know you. Those of you that know me know that I like to do a few lighter things along every once in a while and have a little fun. And so this is one of them. This is a true story. But it's also, I'm going to tell the true story behind the song called Belshazzar. Johnny Cash wrote it. He wrote it a number of years ago. It was one of the first songs he had written. He'd written several songs. It was the first song he submitted to Sun Records when he just before he became a big star. He had found him a couple. Somebody recommended him a couple guitar players and musicians. So he was beginning to build his career, and it sang it. Like I say, he did a lot of gospel songs. Johnny Cash was well, like a lot of entertainers and well-known figures. He was a fairly godly man. He'd written gospel songs, but yet he ended up getting hooked on some really strong drugs, and of course later on got those out from under him and came back to some more serious songs and gospel and things like that. But he got on the wild side there for a little while with some of his songs, but this one was the first one he ever took to Sun Records. And he said he went there because he just found out that Elvis Presley had just signed on not too long before that. And I said he figured if good for Elvis Presley, it'd be good for him. And so this is song Belshazzar. And there's a story after this, so stick with me. There's a follow-up. I had a little fun with this song later on, but the song goes like this. Some of you are familiar with it, some of you not. Some of you be familiar with this next one, and some of you are not. This one I did not do. I promise you. The other one wasn't. Well, the Bible tells about a man who ruled Babylon and all its land around the city. He built a wall and declared that Babylon never fall. He had concubines and wives, he called Babylon his paradise. Upon his throne he drank and ate, but for Belshazzar it's getting late. For he was weighed in the balance and found wanting. His kingdom was divided, couldn't stand. He was weighed in the balance and found wanting. His houses were built upon the sand. Well, the people feasted and drank the wine and praised the false gods of his time. All holy things they scorned and mocked, and suddenly all their mocking stopped. For on the wall there appeared a hand, nothing else, there was no man. In blood the hand began to write, and Belshazzar could hide his pride. For he was weighed in the balance and found wanting. His kingdom was divided, couldn't stand. He was weighed in the balance and found wanting. His houses were built upon the sand. No one around could understand what's written by the mystic hand. Belshazzar tried, but he couldn't find a man who'd give him peace of mind. Then Daniel the prophet, a man of God, he saw the writing on the wall in blood. And Belshazzar asked him what it said, and Daniel turned to the wall and read. Oh boy, you've been weighed in the balance and found wanting. Your kingdom is divided, couldn't stand. You've been weighed in the balance and found wanting. Your houses were all built upon the sand. You've been weighed in the balance and found wanting. Your houses were all built upon the sand. Well, a number of years ago, Kathy and I decided we needed to move to a church closer to home. We'd been driving some distance, met some wonderful people there, and had some wonderful people left behind there at that church, but of course found some new people at the new church we came to, and so I talked to the choir director and the music director about doing some special songs at times, and with the guitar. And so one day he asked me if I'd take the coming Sunday. He said, I'm not going to be able to be here. So he wondered if I would do it. And so I said, yeah, I'd love to. And night came. I think it was Sunday evening. I'm not sure if it's Sunday evening or Sunday morning. But at any rate, he contacted me later on, the music director, and wanted to know how things went. And I said, well, I really thought it really went great. And he said, really? And I said, yeah. I said, I did this Johnny Cash song called Belshazzar. And, excuse me. And I said, it went over so good. I thought, well, I'd just do another Johnny Cash song. A lot of people told me sometimes that they thought I sounded a little bit like Johnny Cash. So I said, I did a second song named Johnny Cash. And I said, excuse me. But I kind of drew a blank. I said I couldn't think of any other Johnny Cash song except this one. It's called Jackson. So I decided to go ahead and do it. Now, yeah, some of you know where that's at. I promise you, I did not do that song though. But yeah, the choir, the music director was not familiar with that song from Johnny Cash called Jackson. He and June Carter Cash had sang that song together, wrote it, not the guests together. But it wasn't a song you'd sing at church, definitely not. But he was not familiar with it, so I said, "Oh, I just have to explain it to you." I said, but it ran over good. I said, after I did that second one, Jackson song, I said, I think the pastor maybe been slain in the spirit. I said, I looked over him, and he's kind of laid back in his chair, and his arms and legs both twitching, and I said, like he's trying to say something, but he just couldn't get anything out. And so I said, I think it really went well. I said, it's a little while after I finished singing where he could get back up and start talking and going again. And like, he didn't know what happened. But anyway, it went great. So now, for those of you who don't know, not familiar with that song Jackson, I'll do the first verse and last verse of it. And those that do know, yeah, you know the story already. So. We got married in a fever, hotter than a pepper sprout. We've been talking about Jackson ever since the fire went out. I'm going to Jackson, gonna mess around. Yeah, I'm going to Jackson. Look out, Jackson Town. We got married in a fever, hotter than a pepper sprout. We've been talking about Jackson ever since the fire went out. And I'm going to Jackson, that's a fact. Yeah, I'm going to Jackson, ain't never coming back. You may never come back. I don't know, but you can see how that went over. By the way, I wasn't sure what the music director was going into. Wasn't slain in the spirit as we were texting back and forth. He was getting, he understood enough that something didn't sound quite right. And so I think he got real concerned and started questioning me a little closer about the songs I did. And I tried to explain the Jackson song to him, but we have a lot of fun together anyway, and it goes back and forth, and we have down through the years. And now, since that time, at that time he didn't know me all that well, so he wasn't sure if I'd really did something like that or what I'd done. Like I say, he wasn't familiar with the song. But maybe we'll do another one before too awful long. But that's a little humor to it. I like to pull some practical jokes every once in a while. Sometimes even on other preachers and on pastors, and maybe just leave names out, and not have to deal with that like I did this one. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed Dale Little.